Hey y'all, conservative brother Daily here, back with another rant, if you will. Once again, conservative brother Daily, a fed up blackface commenting on a trapped in a too woke place. Bringing you videos more consistently, at least every other day. But we want to get into this. Open borders are the new DEI. Open borders is the new DEI. All right. And I've commented on the migrant crisis before in some video, in some videos past. And there's other things I need to kind of get off my chest. And this is a sad reality. I mean, there was a point in our country where affirmative action was necessary. 60s, 70s, 80s, there was discrimination where there were a lot of black folks who were discriminated for their color and weren't able to get the rights or the proper, job opportunities and whatnot. Um, that's changed a lot today. It's kind of reversed where there's more privilege almost than there's ever been if you're like part of the protected class. If you're black, you're part of the trans, LGBTQ community. You know, you're a protected class at this point. There's no more oppression, if you will. And the sad part is the same way how with a lot of this DEI, which has kind of gone too far in my opinion. I don't have an issue where there's companies where they literally have to hire the most qualified person to do the job, regardless of the race. There's bottom line margin and money at stake. If the most qualified happens to be the black guy, great. If it happens to be the white guy, tough shit. Um, what for me is the ones are the companies that pretty much put their stakes and their money ahead of that put the livelihood of their companies ahead of you know co-opting whatever the next thing is. I support the current thing, and when you put all these DEI hires who are actually there for their skin color and not their merit, there's all types of resentment that breeds within there from their white coworkers. Actually, I've experienced that, and it creates more harm than good, to be honest with you, versus knowing that I'm there for my merit. I'm not there just so you feel good checking off a box. So now the same thing we see here applies here. For years, decades, legal processed immigration, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm all for getting as many people into the country as possible who are hard workers and maybe they're fleeing asylum, but that's not the only one reason. Like, oh, I'm fleeing asylum for my family. No, what skills do you bring to the table? Are you vetted? Are you processed? Let's get you into the citizenship classes. What skills do you bring to the table? Are you coming in and learning our ideals, our values, what you can bring to the table, and how you can contribute, work hard to that? But instead, what we have now is a sense of entitlement. It's, oh, just open up the border. You got the Biden administration handing out pamphlets, working with these NGOs to hand out pamphlets along South America and other countries saying, literally, come over here. Biden will give you free stuff and keep you here and let you vote for it. Vote for it. So that's where I draw the line. Is unfortunately the same way you now look at different people, black people, whoever that work at different companies at certain positions, and you wonder, oh, did they get that for their merit versus did they get that because of a DI initiative? Now the same thing, unfortunately, is applying now, where you're looking at different people that are here, black and brown folks, especially like the foreign ones or just off the boat, and you're wondering, ooh, did they really get here on merit? Did they go through the proper processing? Did they wait? Did they go through citizenship classes, the green card program, visas, and all that? Or did they just walk across the border? So now those same DEI biases, is this person just DEI hire? Now we're going, it fosters more division, fosters more racism on both sides, more resentment. Because now we're wondering, all right, is this person, did they just walk over here? Or are they actually here to help contribute? And this is the sad part too, that once again, the media doesn't talk about. And I'm not saying every illegal that's come over since, Biden took office is like, oh, a murderer, rapist, or a trafficker. I think Trump could do a little bit better if he once in a while had a little nuance and say, hey, I'm not saying every single person that stepped across the border is a murderer, rapist, or we don't know who these people are. They came from the same South. Like, yeah, there are some legit families, some legit parents with their kids mixed in there, but the great majority are military age males. A lot of them that come from China, Chinese age males, Somalians. These aren't like afraid families, like running away from religious persecution and to seek asylum. They're just coming over here. We don't know who they are, where they came from, whether they're tied to maybe ISIS, Afghanistan, Hamas. And that's the thing, we just don't know. But we live in this polite society where, oh, it's racist to even ask or question. It's called security, motherfucker. Open border. We're seeing everything going on in Europe right now. There's been a huge revolt lately. A lot of right wing politicians got hired recently because they've seen the destruction the past 10, 15 years, and now they're finally saying no. And America's going to have a rude awakening, wake up call to all this. And it's going to probably hit us a few years from now. I mean, it's hitting us now. But the hypocrisy of the Democrats and these establishment Republicans who cheer on open borders, let people in, and then as soon as Ron DeSantis drops them off in Martha's Vineyard, guess what? Oh, no, we got to get these people out of here. Wait, I thought you just said, Another good way to think about it is, hey, and I think Tim Pool did a good job of this, like, hey, if you came from out of town 2 weeks later and somebody's sitting in your house, they broke into your house. That's what's going to be happening too. You got that Venezuelan influencer on TikTok bragging about how to steal houses and teaching people's Facebook groups people how to steal houses. So there's going to be a couple of scenarios. One would just be you'll come home for vacation. They'll just be in your house. Now you got a squatter situation. And another one is even more subtle. It's kind of like you wouldn't leave there's certain neighborhoods, I guess, but most people on average aren't going to leave their doors unlocked or their doors wide open when they leave. When you advocate for open borders and all this stuff, it's like you literally leave your house with the door wide open. Would you leave the door wide open in your house? Anybody can just walk in? No, probably not. And then there's a scenario where it's you and a roommate, and then all of a sudden your roommate says, "Hey, I got a friend coming over. He's going to crash on the couch tonight." Oh, okay, that's cool. So the friend comes over. Next day, the friend's moving all this stuff in, and it has a permanent area in the couch. I'm like, and you're like, "Hey, I didn't agree to this." And roommate's like, "Well, he's gonna just stay over a few more days." He's like, and I'm like, "I don't know about this." But then the two roommates, now him and his friend, the friend who just moved in on the couch, like, "All right, we're gonna vote on this. All right, 2-1, roommate stays." Oh crap! But that's not fair. What doesn't matter? It's majority. Okay. Next day, another roommate comes over. So the roommate's friend who was staying on the couch now has your bed, and then the other one moves in and sleeps on the couch. Now it's 3-1, and you're like, wait, what's going on? No, we would say it's okay to have him over. I don't agree with this. Okay, let's put it to a vote. Now it's 3-1. So that's just a small example of people, once again, in their feelings. They don't do the research. They don't know about the country's history, U.S. history of destabilization of all these other countries to bring these people over here. They don't know about Venezuela and all the other countries that are that are literally letting loose their prisons, insane asylums with people. Like, yeah, great, get them out of here. Yeah, we could dump them in the U.S. Great, get them out, get them out of here. They don't know about China's ties with the fentanyl epidemic and how the Mexican cartel uses fentanyl in their products. It's cheaper. It's better. It's better, I guess, for their purity, if you will. But they use it in their products, and they use a lot of these people that are coming over here as mules. A lot of these families aren't just able to have the means to make the multiple country trip to the US. They either pay the price where the cartel is pretty much their guide slash enforcer. So they pay the cartel to say, okay, get me into America, or the NGOs pay the cartel to get these people, like the more insane or the criminals or whoever it is, pay to get them here in exchange for being mules to bring the fentanyl over. Whether they're carrying it in their backpack, whether they're carrying it in their who. And guess what? There's a lot of children that get trafficked. Sex trafficking is number one in the U.S. And once again, through the border, you got children matched coming here with parents, and the parent just says, "Yeah, this is my son," and there's no identification, there's no process, and we don't know which of these kids who their parents actually belong to. So the children are being trafficked. They're being used as mules for the fentanyl, but they're also being tracked into labor, sex slavery. All that's going on. And there's so much documentation. You guys look up Oscar Blue Ramirez. He's been documenting this for years. He goes all through Mexico, the southern border. So there's just a lot of stuff on the surface. If you do an ounce of research beyond your top 10 Google search results and actually dig deep into this, there's so much more harm than good being done by just opening up the border, not only flooding and destroying our country. Obviously, the black residents of Chicago are learning this the hard way. They vote blue no matter who, and now they're seeing the very people come in, take their resources and space. So there's not only that, but there's just the humane aspect of how many children and how much fentanyl is being trafficked across the border. Half of these children even is picked. We don't know if those are their real parents. We don't know what their situation is when you have no vetting, no processing, no just come on over. And we don't know who once again is tied to ISIS and Hamas, who could start cells in our country. So once again, this will be an ongoing topic. I just had to kind of hit this home on how, once again, open borders, unfortunately, is the new DEI. Just how we don't know whether this person over here is competent of his position because there's some woke new DEI initiative. We now don't know who's in this country now, and that resentment and racism that shouldn't be there. We should all be united to contribute to the country. Now we're looking at people coming over here, don't know whether they were born here. We don't know whether they walked across the border yesterday. So it's that same division from DEI that's now open borders is now doing the same thing. So that's my rant for the day. I'll be touching on the immigrant crisis, periodically. And once again, what do you guys think? Do you guys think open borders is the new DEI? Do you think that, once again, the mistakes we made with DEI going overboard, now that same neglect is tearing the country apart? So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I will talk to you guys next time. Stay awake, not woke. See ya.